Hey guys, so today's video I'm really excited about, also a little bit nervous about. It might be a little challenging, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So we are going to do a full face of totally randomized makeup. I'm going to use a random number generator to basically randomly select a full face of makeup for me, kind of like a full collection bingo. I do like palette bingos on my channel from time to time, but this is for my entire collection. This was actually a subscriber request that I got on a community tab post where I was asking for Vlogmas video requests, and it came from Amanda, so thank you Amanda for the idea. And I decided I'm going to do this step by step, so just one category at a time. I'll do like foundation. Once I apply that product, I'll randomly select a concealer, so on and so forth, so it kind of keeps the suspense going. I think it'll be fun. The face of makeup might end up looking kind of awful or it might look amazing, who knows. So let's go ahead and get started with primers. I'm pulling up my Pretty Random app and I only own 2 primers, so I'm just going to do minimum of 1, maximum of 2. And I got 2. And in case you're wondering how I'm ordering the products, I just have my makeup inventory pulled up. And for each category of products, I have the products listed in order of when I got them, from oldest to newest. So that's how I just have them listed there. And my number 2 primer is the Smashbox Vitamin Glow Deluxe Sample. That is this little guy. I think I got this and my other primer, the e.l.f. Jelly Pop, like right at the same time. So they're both fairly new to me. This has kind of a serum gel texture. And I'm just going to apply that all over. It feels really nice. I would describe this primer as equal parts hydrating and smoothing. It's not so hydrating that it's going to make your face feel or look greasy. It's not really a gripping primer, but I feel like it just kind of smooths everything out. And I also feel like whenever I do wear this primer underneath my foundation just looks better than it otherwise would. So there's that. Let's go ahead and pick a foundation. So I own 8 foundations, but one of those is actually a backup of my Urban Decay Hydromaniac. So I'm just gonna say that I have 7 foundations. So we're gonna pick 1 through 7, and I got 1. So that is my oldest foundation, and that is the NYX Born to Glow foundation, which this one, we'll see how it works. I do feel like this is better for me in the summertime when my skin is a little bit more oily, but who knows, maybe with the Smashbox primer it'll go on better. So let me go grab that. So here's the NYX Born to Glow. I'm also going to use one of these new sponges. This is from this little Base Blue Cosmetics Snowflake foundation sponge set. This is my first time trying this. They sent this over in PR, but it feels like it has a really nice texture. I'm just going to dot this all over. And in this foundation, I have the shade Alabaster. All right, and I did dampen this sponge. I do have on also a mattifying sunscreen today. It's the Paula's Choice Super Light Daily Wrinkle Defense. It's a mineral tinted sunscreen that definitely is kind of mattifying. So I'm hoping that this foundation plays okay with that sunscreen. So far so good, it doesn't look terrible. And I really haven't been having too much trouble with dry patches this winter, which is a miracle, but I feel like my skin has finally kind of normalized with the tretinoin. I've now been on tretinoin for 8 months, and it's looking a little dry like on the mustache area, but definitely could be worse, could be way worse. And the sponge is working well for me. It's a nice soft sponge. I don't know if I love this shape per se for foundation, but it's certainly not bad. It's kind of like one of those old school wedge sponges. I do really like the coverage level of this NYX foundation. Okay, so next up we are going to choose a concealer. I have 6 concealers and 1 color corrector that honestly kind of doubles as a concealer. So I'm just going to go ahead and count 7, and then if the color corrector does get chosen, I'll choose another concealer to go along with it, because I do like to pair it with concealer. So that's how I'm going to do this. So 1 through 7, and it chose 3, and that is my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, which is my current favorite, so that'll be great. This is just a great concealer for both coverage and hydration. It never looks too crepey on my under eyes, and I have the shade Light Ivory. I don't know if I love the pointed nature of this sponge. I think I do tend to prefer maybe like a teardrop shape. Well, I don't know. I might just have to get used to it. Okay, so before I select any powder products, I want to go ahead and select my cheek products, just so that I know whether I'm going to be using cream or powder cheek products, since I don't like to go in with cream products after face powder. So I want to go ahead and choose my blush, bronzer, and highlight now, and then I will pick my powder. This is where it gets a little bit complicated because I also have 2 face palettes. So for the category of bronzer, I do have 3 individual bronzers, and then I also have my BH Cosmetics Belgian Waffle palette. So I'm gonna count that as 4 bronzers, and then if the BH palette gets chosen, I will then randomly select one of the bronzers from that palette to use, just to kind of hopefully simplify this as much as possible. So I'm gonna do 1 through 4 for bronzer, and I got 1, which is my Jordana powder bronzer in Sunkissed. And then I also have 1 contour product, and since I think of contour as an optional step, I'm gonna just choose between 0 and 1, 0 being no contour and 1 being contour. And I got 0, so we will not be doing contour today. Then for highlight. So I have 14 individual highlighters, and then I have 2 face palettes that contain highlighters. So we're gonna do 16, 1 through 16 for this. And then if one of the face palettes gets chosen, we'll go from there with randomly selecting. So for this, I got 3, which is the Colourpop Super Shock Cheek in Monster. So I have 13 blushes and then 1 face palette that contains blushes, so we're going to select between 1 and 14. And for this, I got the number 6, my Annabelle Cream Blush in Subtle Coral. Okay, so those are our cheek products, the Annabelle Cream Blush, the Jordana Powder Bronzer, and the Colourpop Highlight in Monster. So because I did get a cream blush, I'm gonna go ahead and apply that now before I pick my face powder. All right, so let's go ahead and start by applying that Annabelle Cream Blush. And I was just kind of in the mood to apply it to my brush first. I think with this blush stick, you can apply it to your cheeks directly too, but I just didn't want to risk messing with my foundation. Here's that. Always a gorgeous blush. I really do enjoy this one. And then the Colourpop highlighter in Monster, it's a Super Shock formula. This is sort of like a cream and powder in one. So I could probably get away with applying it over powder, but I'm just gonna go ahead and apply it now. This is a nice duochrome. It's got a white base and like a pinkish red shift. Really different from anything else I own. So then before I go in with the Jordana bronzer, I am going to go ahead and powder my face. So let's pick a powder. I have 7 powders. And I got number 4, which is my Hourglass Powder in Diffused Light. And because that doesn't really work as a setting powder for me, I will use it, but I'm also going to go ahead and pick another powder to use to like set my under eyes and my face. So I got 2, which is my Pacifica Luminous Translucent Setting Powder. So I guess we're gonna be looking very luminous today. So I think the Pacifica powder is what I'll use to set my under eyes, and then since I don't really feel like I need setting powder on my face, I'll just use the Hourglass powder as kind of like my finishing powder for the face, especially because the NYX Born to Glow foundation, despite the name, is actually more of like a satin matte foundation. It's really not that glowy, so I don't feel like I need to set that. And I don't really want to put both the Pacifica powder and the Hourglass powder all over my face, since they're both kind of on the glowy-ish side. First, I kind of feel like I need a little bit more concealer on my under eyes, just a tiny dab. Look at my adorable mug. My friend gave me this for my birthday. It's got my neighbor Totoro on it. This is one of my all-time favorite movies. I watched it approximately 100 times as a child. I need to rewatch it again soon. It's such a good movie if you haven't seen it. Although I think Disney bought it, of course, and I watched it again as an adult and I realized they completely redid the voiceovers, or the voice acting, whatever. And so some of the lines are different. Some of the lines that I like had memorized as a kid, they're like different now. I don't know. Disney has to just ruin everything, don't they? Okay, going in with the Hourglass powder. Just gonna kind of buff that all over. Maybe this will help bring some life back to my face after the NYX foundation. Although I don't feel like the NYX foundation is looking as dry as I was afraid it might. I guess I could even go over the blush. It's kind of a translucent powder, so. Alright, so now I will go ahead and apply my Jordana bronzer in Sunkissed. It's funny, this and the Pacifica powder were both just in my makeup basket. I just rolled them out of there. Yeah, so you can see that there's the side that I've applied bronzer to, and there's the side without. It really does kind of live up to the name. It gives a very sun-kissed glow, you can see. I like it, I do. Okay, so for brows, I have 2 brow filling in products, the ABH Dip Brow Pomade and the Urban Decay Brow Blade. So I will go ahead and pick from 1 to 2. And I got 1, which is the ABH Dip Brow Pomade. And then I also have my e.l.f. Shape and Stay Brow Wax Crayon, which again, it's kind of an optional step. So I'll go ahead and ask Pretty Random if I should use that. We'll just do 0 to 1. 0 will be no brow wax. one will be brow wax. And I got one, so I will be using the e.l.f. Shape and Stay Brow Wax. So with the brow wax, I like to apply this to my brows first, and then go in with the pomade. And I do like how this kind of helps to just keep my brows in place, and it makes it a little bit easier to fill them in too, because it kind of flattens them. Now going in with the pomade. Okay, so next for eyeshadow primer, kind of a boring category, but I have two of them, the Urban Decay Primer Potion and the CoverGirl Lid Lockup Primer, so we'll just pick from 1 to 2 there. And I got one, which is the one I've been using pretty much on a daily basis lately, the Urban Decay Primer Potion. And then I also have my NYX Glitter Primer, and since that's also optional, I'm going to do 0 and 1, 0 being no glitter primer, 1 being yes glitter primer. And I got 0, so we will not be using glitter primer today. Go in with my primer potion, just a couple dabs on each eyelid. Okay, so now for the fun part, which is eyeshadow. I am planning on picking a palette and then randomly picking the shades that I'm going to use from that palette. So it's going to be like a palette bingo inception within this makeup bingo. So I'm really excited to see what we end up getting. Okay, so here's how I'm going to do this. I have 24 eyeshadow palettes, 1 eyeshadow quad, and then I also have my collection of magnetic singles, which I'm just going to count those as 1 palette, and if that gets chosen, we'll just do a palette bingo within those singles. And then I also have a handful of individually packaged single eyeshadows. So I think what I'll do is also randomly pick one of my individual singles to pair with whatever palette we end up choosing. So let's go ahead and choose a palette first. So that's 26 palettes, 24 regular ones, 1 quad, and my magnetic collection. And I got 4, which is my Billie Beauty Eyes of India palette. So I have 5 liquid eyeshadows and then 4 cream and or powder single shadows. So I'm just going to count this as 8 total single shadows. And I got 3, which is my Urban Decay eyeshadow stick in Fishbowl, which is a bright blue. So here's what we have. This is the Billie Beauty palette, and this is the Urban Decay shadow stick. That's the color of that. So because I have this eyeshadow stick, instead of picking 5 eyeshadows for the palette bingo like I normally do, I'm just going to pick 4. So we'll pick 4 shades from the Billie palette and then use this as our 5th shade. So we've got 10 shadows here, and I'm going to count them horizontally. So top row is 1 through 5, bottom row is 6 through 10. And let's go ahead and pick 4 shades. So we got 4, 7, 8, and 3. So 4 is Kobari, which is this dark brown, nice and simple. There's that. 7 is Rani, the purple, and this is a shade that has to be used wet, so this is not going to swatch well, just FYI. There's that. 8 is Mile, the blue. Again, this has to be used wet, so it's not going to swatch well. It's going to be much more vibrant than that on the eyes. And then 3 is Sona, which is the gold. Nice and easy shade there. Go ahead and swatch this cream shadow as well. There's that color. So this is what we have to create a look with. So one option would be to use this cream shadow as a base if I wanted to. I'm not sure if that's going to be what I want to do. I could also use it as an eyeliner or as a standalone shade if I want to. But let's go ahead and start out the look with Kobari in the crease. And I am actually going to mix that with some of the Hourglass Powder just to kind of lighten it a bit. I feel like that's not cheating since this also got chosen for this look. Just going to go ahead and... Ooh, yeah, very pigmented. A little darker than what I would normally go straight into for my crease, but... Honestly, I'm wondering, like, what if I did the blue cream shadow stick all over the lid and then topped that with the royal blue? How would that look? Let me test that out, like, on my wrist just to see how that would look. Ooh, okay. I think that looks nice. It almost makes this look like more of an electric blue. Let me see one other thing real quick. What does that look like underneath the purple? Just out of curiosity. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily do any favors for the purple. I think the purple would look better on its own. Maybe the purple could kind of be like my lower liner, because I'm thinking I want to do something really fun with the blue on the lid. So let's just go ahead and go all in and apply this cream shadow stick to my lid as kind of our base. Blend that out with my finger. Okay, so I'm going to use my Urban Decay Chill Setting Spray to wet my brush. Just realized it's leaking, which is annoying. And I'm gonna apply some of that blue on top of the cream shadow. Just gonna kind of pack it on. I'm just kind of putting that on the inner 2/3 of my lid because I'm planning on going in with more of the brown in the outer corner. That's very blue. Not sure what else I expected, layering 2 blue eyeshadows together, but wow. Okay, let's hope I can get this looking a little more blended at some point soon. Alright, picking up a little bit more of Kabari and placing that in the outer third. I want to take a little bit more of the brown mixed with the Hourglass powder to blend out like this inner part of my crease because I feel like there's like a very harsh line where the blue ends, and I just want to get that looking a little bit more seamless. So I still need to use the purple and the gold. Kind of thinking for the gold. The gold is a little bit too dark for me to use as an inner corner highlight, but I think what might be pretty for that shade would be to apply it kind of in the crease right above that blue. I think that might be really pretty. Let's try that. I think I might actually wet this shade too, even though this one doesn't have to be wet, just to get it to pop even more. I'm going to use an angled brush I just sprayed with some of the setting spray because I want that to almost look like I used like an eyeliner. To kind of carve out that. I'm getting real out of my comfort zone today. Perhaps a little too out of my comfort zone. But hey, it's just makeup. It washes off at the end of the day, so might as well have some fun. Actually, I feel like I could bring that all the way into the inner corner. Does it look weird? I don't know. I think I will take a little bit of that shade on my inner corner, just a very small amount to kind of, I feel like that'll work okay, as long as I don't go in with too much. Alright, so finally, the only shade I haven't used yet is the purple, and I'm going to use that as my lower liner. Again, wetting that same angled brush. This is the Profusion angled brow brush. And then finally, I'm going to take a little bit of the Hourglass powder to highlight my brow bone and clean up just kind of the edges of this look. Dang, this is the most I've ever used this Hourglass powder for one look. I think I've used it for like 3 different purposes now. Well, maybe not my best look. It's a little bit of a lot to look at. I guess that's gonna have to be it. Okay, so before I choose an eyeliner, I'm gonna go ahead and pick a setting spray. I do own 3 setting sprays. And I got 2, which is the one I have right in front of me, the Urban Decay Chill setting spray, which I was already using to wet my brush, so that is perfect. I'm going to cover my hair so I don't get it in my hair too much. For eyeliner, I have 13 of them, and I'm just going to pick one. This could go very wrong. Let me just say, this could go very wrong. Alright, we got 13, and that is my Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eyeliner in Overdrive, which is actually currently in my makeup basket. That is a green eyeliner. Okay, so while this is not ideal, let me just say I am so glad that my NYX yellow liquid eyeliner did not get chosen, because that would have been extremely unlucky. I am just gonna kind of tight line my upper lash line with this. I know that's kind of a cop-out, but I don't want to put this like all over my upper lash line and like wing it out, because it just wouldn't work with this eyeshadow, so this is the best I can do with this. By the way, that Urban Decay cream shadow stick really does lock into place. Like, I wiped everything else off with this rag. That did not move anywhere. Same with the 2 swatches on my arm. So yeah, cool. Next category is mascara. I have 2 mascaras that are currently open. My Ilia and my CoverGirl Lash Blast in brown. And we got the CoverGirl Lash Blast in brown. This totally works with the look, especially because this eyeshadow look has a lot of brown eyeshadow in it. Okay, so the final category is lips, and this is where it also gets a little bit complicated because I've got regular lipsticks, lip glosses, and lip liners. So this could go a few different ways. I think what I'm going to go ahead and start by doing is deciding whether I'm going to use just a lipstick, just a lip gloss, or both, and then we'll pick which ones from there. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a number 1 through 3. 1 will be just lipstick, 2 will be just lip gloss, and 3 will be both lipstick and lip gloss. And we got 3, so we're going to do both lipstick and lip gloss. So the other thing I need to pick is whether or not to use lip liner. So we're gonna do 0 is no lip liner, 1 is yes lip liner. And I got 0, so no lip liner. That does simplify things a little bit. So from there, I'm going to choose a lipstick. I have 30 lipsticks at the moment, and I got the number 24. Okay, and that is my BK Beauty lipstick in the shade Passion. All right, next I'm going to pick a gloss to go with that, and I have 10 glosses, so 1 through 10, and I got 2, which is my e.l.f. Lip Plumping Gloss in Pink Cosmo. So this could have gone much, much worse as well. We've got a nice kind of rosy lipstick and then a milky pink gloss. There is a bird loudly chirping right outside my window right now. I guess he just wanted to join us for this video. All right, so let's just do it. I hope the bird is okay. Pretty lipstick, and then I'm gonna just apply this gloss with my finger because I don't want to mix the color in with the lipstick. Dang, I made a mess. That's what I get for applying with my left hand. Let me just say, this is certainly not my best look, but considering this is an entirely randomized full face of makeup, I think it could have gone much, much worse. All right, so you guys will have to let me know what you think of this look. Would you wear this? This was a lot of fun. Maybe I'll have to do this again in the future if you guys enjoyed it. Have you guys ever done this before with your makeup collection? If so, it could be a fun way to just have some fun, experiment with different products. I wasn't going into this with the goal of coming up with like the most cohesive look ever. It was just kind of a fun way to experiment and just try a totally random combination of products, and I think I accomplished that goal. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you've made it all the way to the end, that's probably a sign that you like my videos, so maybe you should subscribe. I'm uploading every single day in December for Vlogmas, so I'd love to see you back soon, and hopefully I'll talk to you tomorrow in my next video. Bye!